All right, all right. Hello, hello, everyone. Let's get going. So I'm just gonna share everywhere that we are live, and let's see. There's probably gonna be some echo right here, but okay. Um, so that's that. Now let's see. Facebook should be going live too. This is a test, to be honest. I never really go live, and I really want to start doing more lives. I'm actually trying out a new software right now. I'm trying to go live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok simultaneously. So haven't done that in like forever. So I don't know if this is actually working or not. Yeah, I can see Facebook's live. It's also live right now on YouTube. Perfect. So two most important platforms. And let me get started with TikTok, and then we'll be ready to go. Actually, let's make a story real quick and then get some more people to join. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing amazing. I'm currently going live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok to talk more about ad service delivery, product quality overall. So, with that being said, you can check out my Facebook page, my YouTube, or my TikTok to attend this live. I'm going to leave the link on screen right now to YouTube if you're watching this story. But yeah, come and say hi. All right. So, that's how you make content. So, let me just post that real quick too. Instagram. So we are going live. Okay. So that's that. And then once this gets posted, we'll start on TikTok. All right. So let's see. Let's give it a bit. Just want to make sure this works. Awesome. Um Cool. So I've got some stuff to talk about today, service delivery related. I really want to talk about like service quality and talk more on how you should properly structure your creative process overall when it comes to running ads. So perfect. Now Instagram stories there. And then last but not least, let's get it going on TikTok. So live video, add a title. We'll put the same title as we have right here. Paste. Perfect. So let's talk ads and marketing. Um, I've never gone live on TikTok actually. This is like one of the first time I'm gonna try and do that right now. What's up? I can see some people on YouTube starting to come in. Don't be shy. Feel free to say hi in the chat. Let's go daily live chat and interview. Let's go with that. Go live. All right. I also see that we are live on TikTok. So we're there with everything. People from TikTok, hope you're doing amazing. We're also live right now on YouTube. We're live also on Facebook. Just doing a test right now, trying to see essentially how all these platforms work from a live perspective, not used to going live. We're usually doing a little bit more pre-recorded videos. So that's it. Let's get straight into it. Today, I want to talk more about how you can really structure your service delivery, how you can really structure your operations to deliver like great client results. I think this is one of the biggest things that I see right now being a quote unquote problem amongst the agency space or the online marketing space. Hey everyone on TikTok, I see there's Julianne, there's user 90 something with a bunch of numbers. Compete. What's up? Hope everybody's doing amazing. So just so you guys know, on TikTok, we're also going live right now, which is why I'm gonna kind of look up a little bit. Amanda, what's up? We're looking also at YouTube and Facebook over there. So basically today, to get straight into it, we're talking ads and service delivery. And I think one of the biggest things that I've seen right now, anybody who either runs a marketing agency, is about to start a marketing agency, is for that matter, part of a marketing agency as a team member, I think there's a big problem that we need to put onto our shoulders to fix. And here's the thing, right? Most gurus or people on there are telling you to go hard at acquisition, to send 1,000 cold emails a day, to run more ads for your own agency to get more clients, to do all these things that are completely unrelated, essentially, from getting results. And I think one of the core key things that people don't realize is that advertising agencies like Ogilvy, if you think about like 100 years ago or so, not quite yet to this point, actually more like 70 years ago, David Ogilvy started his own marketing agency. And that to this day is one of the largest marketing agencies in the world. And it's literally printing $5.9 billion a year, which in other words, it's like $11,200 per minute. And people out there are teaching others how to make like 10K a month from a marketing agency, which is crazy when you think about it. Like 10K a month is nothing when you compare that to the sheer scale that these big agencies like Ogilvy and more have. And why am I starting to talk about that is because although we're pushing for outreach, we're pushing for mass market advertising, we're pushing agencies to just go out there and close clients consistently, the only way that these agencies were able to get $5.9 billion is not by churning clients. It's by retaining customers and just delivering crazy good value. Because think about it that way, right? How can you generate $5.9 billion as an advertising agency? You're a service based business, you don't sell products. So if you don't sell products, well, in that case, like you trade your teams or your people's time for money. And when you look at that, it's very hard to scale. And although agencies like Ogilvy might be working with Coca-Cola, might be working with like Pepsi or whatever, they might be working with like the big house names that we know. Um, these brands don't have like endless deep pockets. And if you think about a marketing agency that is able to print $5.9 billion a year, they would cap out an entire market if everybody was just churning. Because the amount of sales you need to have, the amount of clients you need to have on retainer, the amount of client projects you need to do in a year to hit $5.9 billion in sales is astronomical. So when I think about that and I look about like us, like when I say us, it's those online agencies, the people like us who run small to medium marketing agencies online, right? The either high six figures or low seven figures, or even I'd say low eight figures marketing agency. Um, you can still get away by churning a lot of clients. You can still get away by having like clients. You can probably get away with having like a 25% and up churn rate is what I'm going to say and claim right here. Whereas at $5.9 billion, it's impossible. So now what I'm going with that is if we look at Ogilvy, which arguably speaking is one of the best marketers that ever existed and built one of the largest agencies in the world, the secret sauce for them had to be retention. Now, when looking into retention, how do you improve retention as an agency? How do you make sure that people stick with you? How do you make sure that you get good results? What I found last year is when we improved our client retention rate from about an average of 5 months to above 9 months. So we almost doubled it. Our client lifetime value went up by a lot. And I realized that I was able to cut my marketing spend. So I was able to cut a big portion of my appointment setters, a big portion of the amount of emails I would send just to maintain. And I'm a very like logical guy. I'm a math guy. I'm math oriented and I love to look at numbers. But when you look at it, and I'm going to pull this up right now for the people on YouTube and Facebook and able to see that. TikTok, unfortunately, what I'll do is I think I'll be able to flip the camera and show you guys on your side. But let me pull up the math. You guys are going to see how crazy it is if the only thing you change in the business is churn rate. I'm telling you, it's astronomical the difference you would have. So what about here? I'm just going to go present, share screen, add engine. Perfect. So if I go back right there, awesome. You guys can see that. And then y'all on TikTok, let me flip the camera for you. Okay. So if I show you that right there, let me just go down. Let's do some math. Perfect. So advertising agencies, right? Let's say your goal is to get 15 clients on retainer. Current amount of clients you have in terms of lifetime value, right? Which is how long your customers stay, is 3 months. So how many clients do you need today to acquire monthly to sustain that 15 customers? Well, the number of clients to acquire monthly looks like that, right? It's number of clients to retain times churn rate, which in this case equals 15 times 0.3, which you need to acquire roughly 5 customers every single month, not to grow, just to sustain your base of 15 customers. Okay? That is not for you to grow. Again, it's just to sustain. Now, let's say you assume a 25% close rate. What you need is about 25 qualified show ups per month. If you have a 70% show up rate, it's about 36 qualified book calls that you need per month. With a 66% qualified call rate, that's 55 calls needed every single month. And you look at like whatever the source, right? Cold email, YouTube content, like every source you look at, usually as an average, you can get away with about $150 per booked call. That's $8,000 spent a month just to maintain. Let's just say you're a small agency. You charge $1,000 a month per customers, which I don't recommend, but let's say that's what got you started. That's half of your agency's money that you're just putting back into acquisition, right? Now, what if we change this one metric? We just quadrupled retention right there, right? We bumped it up from 3 months to 12 months, which is definitely achievable as an agency and should be, right? It should be the standard. How many clients do you need to acquire now? 1.25. Round it up, that's 1 to 2 new clients a month. Now you need to spend $2,700 a month on acquisition to maintain. You're saving yourself a lot of money by doing that. A lot. And on TikTok, let me just flip it back essentially to me. And let me just go right here and stop sharing right there. So going back to what I'm talking about right now is the fact that churn rate changes everything. If you can just lower this one metric in your business, you will have a much easier time scaling. Now, going back into why this is important, I think a lot of people have gotten under the impression that when you look at churn rate from an agency perspective, it's just normal. We're all, it's like, yeah, you know, clients leave after 3, 4, 5 months. Like that's just part of the day-to-day for a lot of agencies. And I'm going to use like an example, right? If let's say you're in a relationship, you're dating a girl or something, and obviously there are some people that are dating just you know, just to mess around, but people that are very serious in dating, you're dating to marry. And if you end up splitting up, right? And then the girl tells you, well, it's no, don't worry, it's not you, it's me, right? Is it really? A lot of the time you did something, or a lot of the time, like you could have been better in that scenario, right? And on the flip side, if everything was working out, why would you quit like a happy marriage? Why would you quit like a happy relationship? You wouldn't. So if it goes back to an advertising agency, why would somebody want to quit if they're happy with the service? They wouldn't. They're unhappy at some point, right? They're unhappy either with the price, they're unhappy with the value, they're unhappy with different things essentially that stem out from your service. So where I'm going with that is that it's not normal to churn that high. And a lot of agencies are not understanding that. And now if you're watching that, you might be an e-commerce brand owner, you might be running a different style of business. Where I'm going back is the product. I think this year, 2023 onwards, now that AI is predominant, now that mass outreach tools have been just crushing the market for months, now that there's 30,000 agency owners every single year that spawn in this new market, the competition is higher than ever. And what we all commonly need to do now that each and every single one of us, no matter what agency or what online business we're running, our audience is getting more and more sophisticated by the day. And getting more sophisticated as a market is scary, because what that means is that their demands are much higher. They expect better results, they expect faster results, they expect a more seamless advertising process. They simply expect more of you. And by having more expectations that the clients are having from these businesses, that just means that we all commonly need to step up. And I'm going to give some actionable like advices here. Like, let's say and I'm going to say for ad agencies and for like e-commerce brands, what you would want to do essentially to step up. Like, what is step up looking like? If you're an advertising agency, that means better client communication. That means better systems. That means a better team. Think about it that way, guys. Look at the P&L of an online business. I'm talking specifically about a service-based business. What is the cost of goods? Under the cost of goods section, what appears under cost of goods for an online business? Service delivery or service-based business more specifically. It's people. The only thing that appears under cost of goods is people. Now, if I look at an e-commerce brand, what is cost of goods? Well, in that case, it's the product. So let's say I'm holding this remote, right? This is the remote, like my light that is right there. It's quite easy to quantify the quality of my service. Let's say my business is making, I don't know, 100 million a year, right? And I look and I have $20 million a year in product cost. I know that I'm having like an incredibly big markup on my product. I know that my product cost is about 20%. It's quite easy to quantify. If I want to improve product quality, well, what I simply need to do is invest more into the quality of that product, which logically speaking, my cost will rise. Now, what about a service-based business? It's much harder to quantify, right? Like it's much harder to quantify. Well, at this point, a service-based business, you got to invest into the people. That's the only thing that takes space on your P&L as your cost of goods. And not a lot of people do that. It's like they'll hire overseas workers, they'll hire or underpay their workers, they'll hire very basic or junior labor, and then they wonder why they're not able to grow. It just doesn't work out if this is the route you're taking. It doesn't work out at all. You have to make sure that you invest back into the team or the product. And now investing into the teams I mentioned earlier, that's getting better people, that's getting better systems, that's systemizing also the entire workflow from somebody coming in as a client to what are they going to see on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 7, week 4, 3 months down the line, a year down the line. And if I'm looking at a product-based business, it's making sure I'm incentivizing returning customer rate. It's the same thing. If I audit an e-commerce brand, my agency as an example focuses on e-commerce brands. If I audit an e-commerce brand and I notice that they have, let's say, 2%, 3% returning customer rate, or for that matter, anything below 20%, I know they're not doing a good job at creating an amazing product experience. I know their customer experience is not optimized. Because let's say you're an Apple customer. It makes sense. It's logical for you to buy an iPhone, to buy a Mac, to buy an iPad, to get through the entire ecosystem because of how they've designed these products to work together, but also help the user's life. If Apple just made a bunch of shitty products that interacted with each other, you'd have an interactive pool of shit. You wouldn't want that, right? You obviously need to have like cohesiveness on a product-based business. You can't just upsell some random stuff. But if people are not coming back to your online business from a product side perspective, you're just not having a good enough product experience or customer experience. So getting to the point now, I think that what we're kind of pushing out there is just wrong as a methodology. We're seeing a lot of people saying like, oh, this is my cash flow business, or like, this is my cash cow. A cash cow most of the time isn't optimized for value. You're not optimizing for client value. You're not optimizing for the end customer. And the only person that benefits from that is you. And if you're not where you want to be today, no matter the style of business you're running, if you're not where you want to be right now, it is because there's not enough other people caring about you getting rich. It's as simple as that. There's not enough other people caring about you making more money. That is part of the team. You need a better team. You need a stronger team. You need a more qualified team. And the only way for you to do that is to cultivate I think there's like, if I go back into my own experience, because I don't like to tell people like do that, right? But if I go back into my experience and I look at how I feel I've done a better job at getting a better team, one was being clear on the culture. Who do I let in? Why do I let them in to the business? Being crystal clear about team objectives, being crystal clear about personal objectives, and finally, I would say comes back to the system. Because look, the thing about startups is that it doesn't offer much security. In a startup, it's like any business that is making less than a mil to 10 mil a year, to be honest, like is considered pretty much a startup. I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong if you're watching that, but um, I see a comment here, Daniel. Do you like mass debating? I guess you're talking about if I'm debating right now. I kind of am, if you think about it. But going back to the point at hand, I think I just got sidetracked by this comment actually right now. But where was I? Anyways, just going back to the systems part. What really worked for me is like last year I had a systems integrator. It was like in September, and we worked for about 6 months. We just resystemized every single workflow and process that we had. And where I was going earlier was about like the non-security you had within startups. If you're in a startup and you are joining as an employee, what is there waiting for you over there? Like usually there's no 401ks. Salaries usually a little lower. Look, the only thing you have is more opportunity for growth. And for a lot of people, this is enough. But for a big pool of other people, this is like they need a lot more security. And that security in itself must be found somewhere else. If you can't give them a good enough salary, if you can't give them great perks, if you can't afford to just splurge out on your team, then you need to give them security elsewhere. For me, I feel I've done that in systems. I've done that in a repeatable workflow. It's like, this is how you work. This is your workspace. But dude, I've joined so many agencies. I'm getting into agencies, businesses now, and auditing them on a couple different calls that I have every week with the various communities I'm involved in. And I'll audit an agency's systems. There's like, oh yeah, we're doing stuff on like Google Doc. Okay, well, all right. Oh yeah, we're doing stuff on like Google Sheets. All right. What does your onboarding process look like from a team member? Yeah, well, we just get on a call and I kind of walk them through everything, and that's about it. All right. Is that really it? No, like how would you feel if you're an employee, right? Let's say you're trying to hire a 35, a 40, 45-year-old like experienced worker. Why would they come work with you if they're getting paid less? If the only thing they have is opportunity for growth, and you can't even look them straight in the eyes and tell them exactly what they're going to do today, tomorrow, next week. It doesn't work. For most people, it doesn't. So going back to that, if you're an online business, okay, now we've uncovered you need to invest into people. We've also uncovered people need security. Now, we've also uncovered ways to give them more security, which is, in my opinion, systemization. If they can at least come into a business that seems like they're well organized, that's good enough. So now you need good people. Now you know kind of how to get these good people in, like what can attract them in a sense, like the culture, the systems, the mission. Now you also know how to incentivize them a little bit more for the long run, which giving them a clear work structure, clear objectives, clear competencies they need to work towards. So now where do you find them? Different ways. For me, content was one of the ways, as an example, that I was able to find a lot of team members. What you're watching right now. There's sometimes clients, there's sometimes friends, there's sometimes competitors, but there's also potential employees who are watching that. That is a way for them to see who am I, what's the company about, and to get a feel for it before they join. Other ways that you can attract people is cold outbound. One of the biggest questions I got asked as I was scaling, somebody like came into my business and was like, Justin, how does your talent acquisition workflow look like? Like, what do you mean? Like, I just, post a few stories here and there. I post some videos whenever I want to hire somebody. I potentially put a message on LinkedIn. What do you mean? What does my talent acquisition workflow look like? Is that it? Like, you just post, like, what after that? I'm like, well, I'll answer to a couple people. I'll get them on a call. And then the best people, like, I'll hopefully hire them. Like, okay. And then what then? I'm like, well, I'll probably schedule a couple calls with them, show them around, and like, that's it. They're like, all right. Like, how would that work if that was a client? I was like, well, that'd be quite hard. They're like, why is that? Well, it'd be hard to track where they're coming from. It's hard to keep track of communications with, if that was a client. It's hard to set clear expectations if we're not systemized. And ultimately speaking, from that conversation, what I realized is that I had to treat my acquisition workflow the same way I treated customer acquisition, to have like a very clear outbound and inbound process for talent acquisition, to have a crystal clear onboarding process for talent. And now that we know we need a team, now that we know why also we need a team, as mentioned earlier, now that we also got the how to incentivize that team, and finally where to find these team members roughly, right? Because we're not where yet, but kind of the ways that we could do it. Actionably speaking, what's left is just to start putting yourself out there. What I've done, as mentioned earlier, is content. What I've also done when I was not doing content was cold outbound on LinkedIn. Just sending a bunch of messages to people that currently occupy the position I wanted to hire for. Because here's the thing. If somebody is very good, you want to hire an A player. Why would an A player be out of a job if they're an A player? Right? There's a handful of people. It's the same thing, like the same argument works for a relationship. You want to find an amazing woman. Why would that woman not already be in a relationship with a man if she was that amazing? Do you just have something like a special eye that you can see through people and others don't? That might be the case for some people, or there might be the occasional employee or, again, potential partner in life that is just out there and haven't found the right person for them. Yeah, that happens. That happens. But in the work context, if somebody is out there looking for a job, chances are they're not that good. Truth is, they're not that good because they would have still be in their current job if they were. So to kind of finish up my point, I usually go for people that have the skills that I want. I usually go for people that are already employed and make offers. I'm never going to try and just harshly poach someone. But what I'll at least try is just to get an intro call with them, just to get a feel for who they are, just to give them a feel for who we are, and then go from there. And now, if we recap everything, we know why we need team members, right? Because we're a business, especially as a service-based business, that the quality of your business relies on the quality of your people. Now we know how to get these people. We know how to incentivize them. Now it's just about going after it on your side. Go for it. I have in our free school community a process showing you exactly how we advertise. So if, let's say, you're an advertising agency and you want to see what your team should be doing on a day-to-day basis, you can benchmark their performance against what I have in our free school community. So feel free to check this out. And with that being said, that's kind of the conclusion of today's live. It was really just to talk about talent acquisition and the importance of getting the right talent within your business. Okay. On that note, happy Saturday to everyone. Hope you're going to have a kick-ass weekend, and talk to you soon.